Today we're talking about something most men have never been taught properly: how to attract any woman, even if she isn't interested at first. Most guys see a woman they want, but if she shows the slightest bit of disinterest, no eye contact, closed body language, short responses, they instantly assume it's over. They walk away, defeated, as if that one moment defines everything. But that's not how women operate. Attraction doesn't always spark immediately. In fact, many times it needs to be triggered. Welcome back to the channel, where men learn how to stop hoping for luck and start building real results. Because when it comes to attraction, you're not powerless. You're not at the mercy of random chemistry. Attraction is not a lottery. It's a response you can create. Women are emotional creatures. They're not always aware of why they feel drawn to a man. Often, it's not his looks, money, or clever lines. It's how he carries himself, how he makes her feel, how he controls the energy between them. The reality is, most women are waiting for a man who knows how to lead the interaction. That's what this video is about. You're going to learn exactly how to approach a woman who might not seem interested, and flip the entire dynamic, calmly, confidently, and without chasing or begging for attention. This is a skill every man can learn, and once you do, you'll realize just how much power you actually have. Let's begin. Before we start the video, I want to remind you that my exclusive online course on mastering the dating game is available now. If you've been learning from my YouTube videos, you're only scratching the surface. This course goes deeper, teaching you everything you need to know about the dating game, from approaching a woman to building real attraction. We just finished section 5 in the course, and you won't find this information on videos on my channel. It's easy to access with a secure payment option. Visit stoicapproachtolife.podia.com or click the link in the description to enroll now and improve your dating life. 1. Attraction isn't her choice. One of the biggest myths men believe is that women sit down and logically choose who they're attracted to. That if you meet all her criteria, good job, nice guy, stable income, she'll automatically feel desire for you. But attraction doesn't work like a job interview. It's not a checklist. It's an emotional response that happens automatically, whether she wants it to or not. This is why you'll see women with men who don't fit their so-called type. She may say she wants a tall, rich, successful man, but end up chasing a guy who barely meets any of those standards, simply because he triggers something emotional inside her. Attraction happens on a subconscious level. It's driven by her instincts, not her logic. As a man, your power lies in understanding this difference. You're not trying to qualify for her approval. You're not trying to convince her you're good enough. Your job is to behave in ways that activate those emotional triggers. When you understand this, you stop chasing her approval and start focusing on your own behavior, confidence, and presence. For example, imagine you walk into a coffee shop and see a beautiful woman sitting alone. Most men would instantly think, "What can I say to make her like me?" That mindset puts you in a position of needing her acceptance. Instead, you walk over with calm confidence, sit near her, and simply say, "This place always has the worst music, but somehow it keeps pulling me back in." You're not complimenting her, you're not seeking validation, and you're not trying too hard. You're starting a light, playful interaction that makes her curious about you. She feels your calm energy, your lack of nervousness, and your ability to lead the moment. And that's what sparks attraction. The key is simple. Women don't sit there deciding to feel attraction. You trigger it by how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you manage the energy between you. Once you fully accept that attraction isn't her choice, you stop trying to earn it. And that's when women start responding to you completely differently. 2. Ignore her initial reaction. Most men ruin their chances with women simply because they take her first reaction way too seriously. She looks away, gives short answers, or even seems cold. And right there, most guys panic and assume she's not interested. They either walk away, overcompensate by trying harder, or worse, start convincing themselves they're not good enough. The truth is, a woman's initial reaction means almost nothing. Women often test men without even realizing it. Sometimes they do it on purpose, sometimes it's automatic. Either way, women use these early reactions to measure your confidence, your emotional control, and your ability to handle pressure. If you fall apart just because she wasn't instantly warm, she now knows exactly where you stand, and you lose your value in her eyes. Think about it like this. When you approach a woman, you're entering her world unexpectedly. She doesn't know who you are yet. She doesn't know how you're going to act, whether you're desperate, insecure, or confident. Her first reaction is rarely about whether she likes you. It's often her way of observing how you respond to her energy. That's why your job isn't to win her over instantly. Your job is to remain calm, centered, and unaffected by her behavior. When you stop reacting emotionally to her responses, you send a very powerful message. You're not seeking her approval, and you're not controlled by her mood. This alone makes you stand out. Most men crumble at the first sign of disinterest. The man who stays grounded is the one she starts to feel curious about. She starts wondering why you're not chasing, why you're not reacting like every other guy, and that curiosity begins to pull her toward you. You have to understand, women are emotional creatures, but they respect emotional strength in men. When you keep your cool, even when she seems distant or uninterested, you show her that you're not emotionally fragile. And that's attractive on a very deep level. So when you approach and she gives you cold energy, stay relaxed. When she gives short answers, keep talking lightly, but don't force anything. When she seems uninterested, don't chase, don't flinch, and don't assume anything. Attraction often starts when she sees that you're completely comfortable, no matter how she acts. That makes her curious, and curiosity is often the beginning of desire. 3. Make her feel unqualified. Most men spend their entire lives trying to prove they're good enough for women. They list their achievements, brag about their jobs, show off their cars or money, all in the hope that a woman will see them as worthy. But this dynamic is completely backwards. When you position yourself as the one trying to qualify for her, you automatically give her the upper hand. And once she feels superior, attraction starts to die. The reality is, women are far more attracted to men they feel slightly unqualified for. This doesn't mean you have to be rich, famous, or have some insane status. It's about how you carry yourself. When you hold yourself like a man who has options, who values himself highly, and who isn't easily impressed, women feel that they have to earn your attention, not the other way around. Think about how most men behave around beautiful women. The moment they meet an attractive woman, they become overly agreeable, laugh too hard at her jokes, and avoid challenging anything she says. Why? Because deep down, they feel like they're lucky just to be in her presence. That mindset kills any sense of mystery or challenge for her. Women don't desire what's handed to them easily. They desire what feels valuable, rare, and slightly out of reach. When you make her feel like she needs to qualify herself to you, the dynamic shifts completely. Now she starts thinking, does he like me? Am I his type? Am I interesting enough for him? And that internal questioning is exactly what builds attraction. This doesn't mean you need to be rude or arrogant. It simply means you remain unimpressed by surface-level things. If she mentions her looks, her job, or how many guys chase her, you don't react like you're blown away. You stay calm, grounded, and act like you've seen it all before. Because you have standards, and she hasn't met them yet. That subtle frame instantly separates you from every other man who throws himself at her feet. When a woman starts to feel slightly unqualified for you, she invests more effort. She wants to prove her worth. She starts chasing your approval instead of you chasing hers. And once she's emotionally invested, her attraction toward you grows stronger without you having to force anything. The man who reverses the qualification game is the man who naturally draws women in. You're not selling yourself. You're letting her discover that she wants to be chosen by you. 4. Control the tempo. When it comes to interacting with women, one of the biggest advantages a man can have is the ability to control the tempo. Most guys don't even realize how fast they move. They try to escalate too quickly. They reveal too much too soon, or they push for validation early. That's how they lose control of the interaction, before it even has a chance to develop naturally. Women are extremely sensitive to pacing. They pick up on how rushed or calm a man is from the very first moment. When you try to speed things up because you're eager for her attention, she feels it. And once she feels that you're in a hurry to win her over, she automatically starts pulling back. The reason is simple. Women feel safe and attracted to a man who's in control of himself and the situation. A man who doesn't rush gives off the impression that he's comfortable, experienced, and not desperate for an outcome. He allows the interaction to unfold at its own pace, which creates a sense of stability and mystery. When you control the tempo, you're sending a very clear message. I'm not in a rush to impress you. I know my value. We'll see where this goes. That calm energy makes her feel like she's dealing with a man who's been here before, who has options, and who doesn't need immediate validation. Now think about how most men behave. They compliment too soon, they ask for numbers quickly, or they try to lock down a date after a few minutes of small talk. This creates pressure. Women don't like to feel pressured because it takes away their ability to naturally develop interest. When you control the tempo, you give her space to build her own curiosity and desire. You also create an emotional space where she starts to invest. She wonders about you because you're not rushing to tell her everything. She starts asking more questions, trying to get your attention, and working to keep the interaction going. That's when you know the balance of power has shifted. The man who controls the tempo never seems too eager. He gives just enough to keep her engaged, but holds back enough to remain intriguing. He understands that attraction builds over time when there's space for tension and curiosity to grow. When you master the pace, you're no longer reacting to her. She's reacting to you. And that's when attraction naturally deepens without you having to push for it. 5. Be unavailable emotionally. One of the most powerful and misunderstood ways to attract women is to be emotionally unavailable. But not in the way most people think. It's not about being cold, mean, or completely closed off. It's about not giving her instant access to your emotions, your vulnerability, or your full attention right away. Most men make the mistake of opening up too early, sharing too much, or making the woman feel like she's already inside his world emotionally, even before she's earned that position. That removes all the mystery, all the tension, and all the chase. Women want to feel like they're discovering you, like there's more to uncover. When you hand over your emotional world too quickly, she loses interest because there's nothing left for her to explore. Being emotionally unavailable means you stay calm, composed, and a little distant in the beginning stages. You don't get overly excited. You don't share your personal life story in the first few conversations. You let her wonder who you are, what you're thinking, and what your intentions are. That uncertainty keeps her curious, and curiosity fuels attraction. Here's where most men slip up. They think that opening up emotionally will make her feel closer. And yes, emotional connection is important, but only after she's invested. If you offer emotional intimacy too early, she starts to see you as someone who needs connection more than she does. That flips the power dynamic. For example, imagine you're talking to a woman you've just met. The conversation flows, and she starts asking personal questions. Are you seeing anyone? Or, what kind of relationships have you had before? Most men would take this as a signal to spill everything, hoping it shows honesty and openness. Instead, you simply smile and say, I don't really get into personal details this early. I like to keep some mystery alive. You say it lightly, with confidence, and without any defensiveness. What happens? Now she's even more interested. You've set a boundary, and that boundary makes her want to dig deeper. Women are naturally drawn to men who hold back a little because it signals strength. It shows that you're not emotionally needy or desperate to bond quickly. You have standards for who gets access to your emotions, and that makes her want to be the one who earns that deeper connection. Emotional availability is something you give once she's invested, not before. By holding your emotional cards close at the beginning, you create the space for her to chase, invest, and desire that deeper connection with you. 6. Trigger. Her competitive instinct. Whether women admit it or not, competition plays a big role in attraction. It's wired into human nature. Women don't just want a man who is attractive, they want a man who is desirable to other women. That desire creates social proof, and social proof triggers her competitive instinct. Men often believe that if they focus entirely on one woman, shower her with attention, and make her feel like she's the only option, she'll naturally be drawn in. But in reality, that can actually lower your value in her eyes. The moment she feels like she has you fully locked in, her excitement can start to fade. When a woman senses that other women find you attractive, she instinctively becomes more interested. Not because she's shallow, but because your value is now being confirmed by others. If other women want you, it signals to her that you possess qualities worth chasing. It taps into her natural desire to win a man who is sought after, not one who is easily secured. This doesn't mean you need to openly flaunt other women or try to make her jealous in a desperate way. In fact, trying too hard to create jealousy can backfire. Instead, it's about carrying yourself like a man who has options, who naturally attracts attention, and who isn't desperate for any one person's approval. Women are highly intuitive. They can sense when a man is used to female attention. It's in the way he speaks, the way he holds eye contact, the way he stays calm under pressure. A man who knows he's valuable doesn't need to prove it. His vibe communicates everything. By triggering her competitive instinct, you create a subtle challenge. She starts to wonder, what is it about him that makes other women interested? Am I good enough to capture his attention? Can I keep his interest? This internal dialogue pushes her to invest more energy into you. And the more she invests, the stronger her emotional attachment becomes. When you hold yourself in this way, you naturally create healthy competition in her mind without ever needing to say it out loud. You let her imagination do the work. She knows she's not the only one who could have you, which makes her desire you even more. Attraction is not always about logic. It's about emotional tension. When you subtly activate her competitive instinct, you add that tension without having to force it. You make her want to prove herself, to stand out, to win you over. And that's when her attraction deepens naturally. 7. Walk away before she decides. Far too many men give women unlimited time and space to make up their minds. They wait, they hope, they stick around like loyal puppies thinking, if I just stay patient, maybe she'll finally pick me. This mindset is exactly why so many men stay stuck chasing women who have already lost interest. You need to wake up and understand something very simple. Your time is valuable. The more you sit around waiting for her decision, the more power you give away. And the more power you give away, the less attractive you become. Women are drawn to men who don't wait for permission to live their lives. When you walk away before she decides, you completely flip the dynamic. You show her that you are not waiting for her validation. You're not desperate for her attention. You have standards. You're willing to give her a window of opportunity. But you're not going to sit there endlessly while she explores her options. Here's where most men fail. They confuse patience with weakness. Yes, confidence means you're calm and not needy. But confidence also means you know when to walk. You don't hang around hoping she eventually sees your value. You show your value by being willing to leave the situation if she's not matching your interest. When a woman sees that you have the strength to walk away, even if she hasn't fully made her choice, it sends a powerful message. She realizes she can lose you. That fear of loss creates urgency, and urgency often sparks the very attraction you've been hoping for. Men need to stop acting like they have unlimited time to waste. Every moment you spend waiting on a woman who won't commit is time you could be using to meet someone who will. The longer you sit on standby, the more you damage your own confidence. And women can sense that weakness from a mile away. By walking away first, you protect your value. You send the signal that you are the prize, not the one chasing it. This forces her to evaluate her own behavior and make a decision. And many times, when you remove yourself, that's when she finally realizes what she's losing. If she doesn't care that you walked away, good. You just saved yourself months, maybe years, of wasted energy. But if she does care, and she starts chasing you, now you've got the upper hand. Men need to stop waiting and start leading. Attraction isn't about sitting still. It's about knowing when to give and knowing when to step away. That's real strength. Attraction isn't about being perfect. It's about understanding power. And here's something most men refuse to accept. A woman often becomes attracted to the man who gives her the most to lose. That's the truth. Not the man who tries the hardest, not the one who waits the longest, but the one who shows her, through his actions, that his life moves with or without her. That level of self-respect forces her to see you differently. It creates tension, and tension creates desire. Too many men have been brainwashed into thinking they must prove themselves endlessly to women who haven't earned them. You don't need to prove anything. You need to position yourself. Now, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Share your personal experiences, situations you've faced, or any struggles you're dealing with right now. I read everything, and I personally respond to as many of you as I can. Your story might even help another man who's going through the same thing. We're building something different here, not just another dating channel, but a place where men sharpen each other, learn, and finally take back control in this game. You're not alone in this, but you do have to wake up.